on, shape it up, you guys. Kids! Hey! I didn't know you were back. When'd you get in? Just now. Okay.
I never expected you to be up working.
Well, the academy didn't change you much. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a battle going on right here in our system.
Not again. Forget it.
Well, what's all the noise
Can you come
about?
back down here and play the game?
That's no battle, hotshot. They're just sitting there. Probably a freighter tanker refueling.
But there was a lot of firing earlier. Hey!
I tell you, Luke, the rebellion's a long way from here. This planet, big hunk of nothing.
How long have you had these droids?
About 3 or 4 seasons.
They're up for sale if you want them.
Let me see your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
Move along.
Move along. Move along.
Shadow right across your face.
Damn me if I was ever more in earnest in my life. Tom French of our regiment had her and her aunt together at Bar. Hey, you are the most impudent rascal on earth!
What is it, General?
My lord, the fleet has moved out of Lightspeed. Comscan has detected an energy field protecting an area of the 6th planet of the Hoth system. The field is strong enough to deflect any bombardment.
The rebels are alerted to our presence.
All troops will debark for ground assault. Prepare to target the main generator. Distance to power generators.
17.2
For your eyes only.
No, Melina. That's not the answer. We'll turn him over to the Greek police.
Out of my way, James.
All right. But be prepared to dig those 2 graves.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
The Holy Grail, Dr. Jones. The chalice used by Christ during the Last Supper. The cup that caught his blood at the crucifixion and was entrusted to Joseph of Arimathea.
The Arthur legend. I've heard this bedtime story before.
Eternal life, Dr. Jones.
If she were to be so foolish as to march on Westeros, she will not find, as her ancestor Aegon did, 7 disparate kingdoms frightened by her strange beasts.
My apologies, my lord, for interrupting your time of leisure. But I only want to discuss a few matters with you privately.
Never! But you let him die, made sure he succumbed.
Lannister. I always served Lannister.
Get him out of my sight.
Throw him in one of the black cells.
Oh, no, please.
I've come with that motivation for the last 3 hours. God, aren't I good?
Before we start, I am deaf, okay? So perhaps if you ask a question, I will have to ask someone to translate it for me, and I will answer. Okay.
Hola, buenos días. Pues en cuanto tengáis una pregunta, levantad la mano y preguntad. Lo que queráis preguntar.
que llegan a contar.
Are you going to ask us questions, or will somebody come here to interview us, or what's happening?
So is there anyone that would like to ask any questions about making of the movies or any of the programs?
Anything you want to ask us?
What kind of underwear we were wearing? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Does that have a microphone up there?
There's no microphone out there.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, we have to hear you. Now we can, yeah. For Julian, yeah.
If I wanted to do the same film again, is that the question? Which would I prefer? Which is my favourite film?
No.
Is that the question? My favourite film that I've ever made is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. For obvious reasons, it's a very good film. And working with people like Spielberg, you know, it's a privilege that you don't expect from life. And of course Harrison Ford and Sean Connery. You know, they don't do badly, those actors, and it was a great pleasure and a great privilege to do it. I have to say, you don't know because you're Spanish, but in the English version I'm playing an American, perhaps you know that. And halfway through the film, Spielberg said to me, "Julian, your accent is so good, you will never stop making American films from now on." I've never made one since.
No sé si lo habéis entendido, ¿necesitáis que lo traduzca? Sí, sí. Nada, que para él, bueno, su película favorita, la habéis oído, es Indiana Jones, que ha sido un gran placer, vamos, un privilegio trabajar con Spielberg y con el resto de actores, y que creo que dijo que también, que a mitad de la película le dijo que por su acento no volvería a hacer ninguna película más.
You will never stop doing American films.
Que nunca pararía de hacer películas por su acento.
I've never made it.
Y nunca volvió a hacer ninguna película con ese acento.
Can I ask you how you got to be in Star Wars? How you were cast in Star Wars? And what your experience of it was?
We're going to interview each other, I think, Julian. Is that it? I'd done a film called The Eagle Has Landed. And it happened that Irene E. Lamb, who was the casting director for Star Wars, contacted my agent and asked me to come in and meet George Lucas, who was completely unknown. Nobody knew who George Lucas was. And I met him in Soho Square at the 20th Century Fox building, and it turned out I met him about 4 or 5 times. And I went in and we talked, and we kept talking, and then we talked some more, and then eventually George said, contacted my agent and said, "Would you like to play the Fixer character?" And that was how I ended up in Tunisia playing Fixer. And then while we were on location, I was called from the hotel by Robert Watts, the production manager at the time, who later became one of the producers of Indiana Jones. And he said, "George would like to see you on the set." And I went to the set, and George said, "Can you do me a favor? It won't affect Fixer, but if you could wear this costume and play this scene with Alec Guinness." He handed me a script, and I said, "Sure, let's do it." And I walked in, met Alec Guinness, we had a brief chat, and then we shot the scene. And I think it took probably about 20 minutes of my life. And it became the scene that it is today. And so these aren't the droids we're looking for. Well, I'm here.
Wow, that's a story.
Yeah.
I want you to understand that everything we say must be translated.
Yeah.
Yeah?
We should do it bit by bit. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. In that case, we'll start doing it in smaller pieces.
Okay.
Rather than the long, and then you can, so you can hang on. Yeah? Okay. You can do that.
Oh, okay, we'll do take two.
Va a repetir la respuesta para que pueda traducirla a trozos y lo podáis entender todos.
Okay, so Julian's question, right,
La
to me,
pregunta era
was that how did I get the role in Star Wars?
que cómo consiguió el papel en Star Wars.
I had made a movie, The Eagle Has Landed.
Había hecho una película que se llamaba The Eagle Has Landed, no sé cuál es la traducción en español.
And Irene Lamb, the casting director,
Y había conocido al director de casting.
yeah, also got the job to do the casting for Star Wars.
Y también estaba encargado de hacer el casting de Star Wars.
So she contacted my agent and asked me to meet with George Lucas
Así que contactó con su agente y le pidió que se reuniera con George Lucas
when he was in London.
cuando estaba en Londres.
And we talked, and he showed me a script. I then went back 3 or 4 times to meet with him.
Así que se reunieron, le enseñó el guión y se volvieron a reunir 3 o 4 veces.
And eventually he offered me the role of Fixer.
Y al final pues le consiguió el papel, le dio el papel de Fixer.
So we were in Tunisia filming,
Así que se fueron a Túnez a rodar.
and it was the first weeks of the filming of Star Wars that was happening. They were filming first in Tunisia,
Y fueron las primeras semanas de rodaje, que primero se fueron a grabar a Túnez.
and then the interior sequences were all done in London
Y las secuencias de interior eran las que se rodaban en Londres.
at Elstree Film Studios.
¿En?
Elstree
Elstree.
Film Studios.
En los estudios de filmación de Elstree.
When we were in Tunisia, while I was waiting to film Fixer sequences,
Mientras estaba en Túnez, estaba esperando a su turno para rodar las secuencias de Fixer.
Robert Watts, the production manager,
El jefe de producción, Robert Watts,
yeah, who later became one of the producers on Indiana Jones,
que luego fue productor de Indiana Jones,
said that George would like to see me at the film location.
dijo que George quería que fuera
Yeah. He asked me if, when we went to the location,
al set, y entonces cuando fueron al set,
he asked me if I could put on the costume of the Sand Trooper
le dijo que si podía ponerse el traje de Sand Trooper.
and he said it won't matter because no one will know that you're in costume, so when you see the Fixer and the Sand Trooper, nobody will know that you're the Sand Trooper because you're in costume.
Que no pasa nada si te pones en traje porque como irás todo cubierto nadie se enterará que haces de Fixer y también de Sand Trooper.
He handed me his script, and he looked at the scene. I met with Alec Guinness.
Le dio el guión, repasó la escena y entonces fue cuando conoció a Alec Guinness.
And in the next hour or 2 hours, we filmed the entire sequence. So for me, it was about 30 minutes of work, and it became that famous scene.
Y fue una cosa de un par de horas. En un par de horas se rodaron la escena y al final ha acabado siendo la escena tan famosa que todos recordáis.
I think I took more time getting in and out of the costume.
Creo que le costó más mirarse, o sea, vestirse y desvestirse.
You must remember that at that time, no one knew anything about Star Wars. He was right in on the beginning. We knew nothing about it. And when it got to my turn to do the second film, we just knew the first one had been wonderful. Well, he had no idea that it was going to become the franchise that it has become now. The reason you're sitting here is because of Star Wars.
It was
Cuando él rodó la escena de Star Wars, él no tenía ni idea, nadie tenía ni idea de que iba a Star Wars y no sabían qué iba a ser esa película, en qué se iba a convertir. Nadie sabía el impacto que podría tener esa película.
Cuando él rodó la segunda película ya sabían que había sido una buena película, pero tampoco se podían imaginar que se podría convertir en la franquicia que se ha convertido hoy en día y esa es la razón por la que todos vosotros estáis aquí.
The first film felt much more, even though it was a Hollywood movie, because it was being shot away from Hollywood.
La primera película, aunque era una producción de Hollywood, tampoco se rodó en Hollywood, sino que se rodó...
And no one in Europe knew who George Lucas was.
Y nadie en Europa sabía quién era George Lucas.
And so it was much more like an independent movie.
Así que era mucho más una película independiente.
Where everybody was, I guess, pitching in or helping.
Todo el mundo estaba ayudando, contribuyendo.
To make the film work.
Para que la película saliera adelante.
Which means that the money was very bad.
Así que eso implica que la paga no cobraba mucho.
Very true. I think my pay for the Sand Trooper was about £62.
62 pounds.
Something like that.
Oh, as much as that.
I know.
But it didn't change when the films were successful.
Pero tampoco cambió la cosa cuando la película tuvo éxito.
The same with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones we did for nothing. Well, not nothing, very little.
Por 4 perras.
La misma. That's why we're here.
Y por eso estamos aquí.
Any questions?
Para Julian, una pregunta. Cuando le contrataron para Juego de Tronos, ¿le dijeron que tenía que salir desnudo o se lo dijeron después?
When you got hired to play, to do your part in Game of Thrones, did you know that you were going to have to get naked, or did you learn about it afterwards?
I've been an actor for nearly 60 years, and the only thing anybody is interested in at all is whether I screwed that girl.
Lleva siendo actor 60 años y la única cosa que le preguntan, lo único interesante lo único que le interesa a la gente es saber si se tiró esa tía.
I will now answer the question seriously.
No voy a contestar esa pregunta.
No, I didn't know, but when you're doing a series, you must be prepared for anything.
No lo sabía, pero cuando haces una serie debes estar preparado para todo, para cualquier cosa.
You sign a contract which says that you will do what you're told, as long as it's not dangerous, of course.
Firmas un contrato que dice que tienes que hacer todo lo que te pidan siempre que no sea peligroso.
Doing a scene with a naked person, male or female, is very difficult because you are embarrassed. They are embarrassed. They can't pretend they're not. They know they're being paid to have no clothes on, but they are embarrassed. So you have to be very careful to tread the right line, to be nice to them, to hope they will be nice to you. I will finish in a minute. And not to stare at their breasts, although it would be unnatural not to look at them.
Vale. No, lo que ha dicho es que cuando filmas una escena en la que los dos están desnudos, pues tienes que entender que los dos tienen vergüenza. Tú tienes vergüenza, la otra persona tiene vergüenza y hay que tener mucho tacto para hacer sentir cómoda a la otra persona y a ti también, claro, pero eso es difícil porque es muy difícil no quedarte mirando fijamente a los pechos y claro, intenta intenta hacerlo lo mejor posible para que todo vaya adelante y hacer una buena escena y que quede bien.
I have a question, Julian, for you.
I've got a story about all that.
Yeah. Was it a, and this is common to do this, especially for an actress, from an actress's point of view, was it a closed set when you were shooting those scenes?
Sorry.
Le he preguntado si cuando, que esto es algo habitual, si cuando rodaron la escena era un escenario cerrado, que muchas veces rodan esas escenas con poca gente.
Siempre.
Siempre, sí.
I have a little story. Can I tell it?
Voy a contar una anécdota.
The first time this happened to me,
La primera vez,
a film called The Magus.
una película llamada
The Magus.
The Magus,
Yes.
como el mago,
Starring Candice Bergen,
con Candice Bergen,
who was at that time very famous indeed.
y en aquella época era muy famosa.
I had a love scene with her, and I was very frightened. It was my first time.
Y tenía una escena de cama con ella y estaba muy asustado porque era su primera vez.
I got in on the morning of the shooting to find that she had said she was not going to do the scene because she didn't know what she was going to tell her mother.
Y el día de que iban a rodar la escena se levanta y le dicen que ella decía que no quería hacer la escena porque no sabía que le iba a contar a su madre.
So she decided to do it as long as her back was to the camera, her front was to me, but she still covered her breasts with sticking plaster.
Y decidió hacerlo con la condición de que la cámara estuviera enfocando a su espalda, de modo que la parte delantera estaba de cara a él, pero aún así se cubrió los pechos con cinta aislante.
I was very nervous. I was a young actor, and she refused to do the bed scene.
Y no quiso hacer la escena de cama.
So we were in Mallorca. They went into Palma, Mallorca, and they found a young woman with a body which was so wonderful, Candice Bergen should have prayed to God to have that body.
Y encontraron una chica que tenía un cuerpo tan maravilloso que Candice Bergen debería haber querido tener el cuerpo de la otra mujer.
But she was very nervous, this girl, and I was very nervous.
Pero claro, la otra chica estaba muy nerviosa y él estaba muy nervioso.
So I had to touch her, of course, and
Tenía que tocarla, por supuesto.
I had to comfort her all the time.
Tenía que calmarla un poco.
And I spent 2.5 hours.
Y se pasó 2 horas y media.
Comer. And I never got there.
But you as an actor, which is your favorite house? Which house are you loyal to?
Not as an actor, as a character, I'm loyal to whoever is king. This is why I am 104 years old.
Como personaje es leal a quien quiera que sea rey, por eso ha vivido hasta los 104 años.
And I haven't been killed yet.
Todavía no me han matado.